Good evening and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Venezuela. In the aftermath of this summer's protest against the regime of Nicolas Maduro, dozens of teenagers were rounded up and jailed. They remained behind bars despite warnings from the Organization of American States that their rights were being violated. The three teenagers wept as Judge Castillo laid out their only two options: plead guilty to terrorism and incitement and face 6 years in prison, or stand trial and risk a decade behind bars, where they have already been beaten, tortured, and deprived of food and medication. Their shocked mothers watched the cold mechanical process in silence. They had expected their children to be released during the October 2 hearing. Like 86 other teenagers were shortly after being detained for protesting along thousands of other Venezuelans against Nicolas Maduro's declared victory in the July 28 election, which most of the world viewed as rigged. When the judge finished, the three teens aged 15 to 17 began to plead for mercy, screaming and sobbing as they assured the court they were not guilty. The teens were marched out of the courtroom and back to their cells. Over the past few weeks, hearings like this for about 50 teenagers were then taking place throughout the country, mostly conducted online. Often, the judge and the lawyers were in one city, the teens in another, and the parents in a third, seeing their sons and daughters only as pixelated images on a screen. We tell you now that 7 years after teenager Hannah Mathura was reportedly killed and buried in a shallow grave in the backyard of the family's compound in Balsane, instructions have been issued for her parents to be charged with her murder. The advice was given by Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspard during a meeting with investigators on Wednesday. Andrew Mathura, 65, along with his wife Alana, 63, were arrested by officers of the Homicide Region 2 and taken to the Arouca police station. The charge followed the month-long investigation into the discovery of Hannah Mathura's skeletal remains in a shallow grave on March 12. The skeletal remains were removed by officers in the backyard of the family compound after a family member alerted the police of her death. Officers were working on the theory that Mathura was killed and then buried in the backyard in June 2017. At the time of her death, Mathura would have been 18 years old. Mathura's parents were questioned before as part of the investigation and release. A manhunt was launched for Andrew Mathura after he fled their property on March 12 when police executed a search warrant, but he was captured the next day. We conclude with some international news. A fuel tanker overturned late in Nigeria's southern state of Jigawa after the driver lost control of the vehicle, spilling petrol which exploded and killed at least 147 people, police and state emergency services said on Wednesday. The accident is one of the worst in recent times in Africa's most populous nation, which is battling with widespread security threats and the cost of living crisis. Local police spokesperson Lawan Adam said the tanker was traveling from the Asian city of Kano to Yobe, state in the north, when the driver lost control about 530 kilometers north of the capital Abuja, causing it to overturn and spill fuel. Adams said the villagers attempted to scoop petrol from the spillage, resulting in a fire that engulfed the area, reportedly leading to many deaths. Adam added that 50 others were wounded and have been taken to a local hospital where they were being treated, while a mass burial was held for the others on Wednesday. Many roads in Nigeria are poorly maintained and riven with potholes, causing accidents that claim dozens of lives each year. Last month, at least 48 people were killed in north-central Nigeria when a fuel tanker exploded after colliding with another truck carrying travelers and cattle, trapping other vehicles as well in the blaze. I am KERESE Gonzalez. Thank you for watching.